be seated. There were a lot of things that surprised those women who went out to the tomb early in the morning at dawn on the first day of the week, on Easter morning. There are a lot of things that surprise the people of our world today. There are a lot of things that surprise each and every one of us every day of our lives. But the things that surprised the women that morning on that first Easter really shouldn't have surprised them. And the things that surprise the people of our world today really shouldn't surprise them. And the things that surprise each one of us in our own lives each and every day really shouldn't surprise us either. Those women had seen everything. They had seen it all. They were there. They were there on Friday. They were there on Good Friday. They were there when Jesus died. They saw his dead body on that cross. They saw Joseph and Nicodemus take that dead body down from that cross, wrap it in the spices, wrap it in the cloth, prepare it for burial, put it into that empty tomb, and roll that huge stone in front of it and walk away. They had seen that. They had seen all of that. And then they too left that evening. They rested on the Sabbath. They observed the Sabbath, but they would be ready. Plans made, spices purchased, alarm clocks set. At the crack of dawn, they went back to that very same tomb. No surprises, right? Well, one surprise, one thing caught them off guard on the way to the tomb, and that was that stone. That stone. Who's going to roll that stone away from the front of the tomb? Is that when the earth began to shake? Is that when the ground began to tremble? An earthquake, a violent earthquake, just like the one they'd experienced 3 days ago on Friday when Jesus had died. Did that surprise them, that earthquake? Did they just instinctively grab onto each other's arms and press on toward that tomb? What do you think surprised them more when they got to the tomb? Seeing the tomb with the door wide open, nothing in front of it, or seeing that large stone cast to the side, lying flat on its side? Or do you think it was the angel sitting on top of that discarded stone that surprised them most? His appearance was like lightning. His clothing was bright as snow. Did that surprise them? Or do you think that what the angel said to them surprised them most? Don't be afraid. You're looking for Jesus, who was crucified. He's not here. He's risen, just as he said. All of those things surprise them. How could they not? Their hearts reveal that all of those things surprise them. Their hearts that morning were full of grief and sorrow, worry and fear, doubt and anxiety. Their hearts revealed that they failed to listen and they failed to trust and they failed to understand. None of that surprises us, right? None of that about any of them surprises us. Why? Because we experience those same things each and every day of our lives in this world and in our own day-to-day lives. Does anything, honestly, does anything surprise us anymore? Be honest, would another school shooting surprise anyone here? How many little ones would need to lose their life in one classroom for it to honestly surprise us? Or what motive could we possibly hear for someone doing such a brutal, senseless, horrible act that would actually surprise us? Natural disasters, do they surprise us anymore? How many tornadoes would need to hit down in one localized geographic area before it would, surprise us? What would the death toll have to be? What would the cost to repair everything have to be? What would the length of time, the number of years to fix everything and restore everything have to be before it would surprise us? War? Another war? Would that honestly surprise us? Who would have to be involved in that war for it to surprise us? Crime? Violence? Terror? An unstable economy? A health scare? None of that surprises any of us. Why? Because we know we live in a world ravaged by sin and by death. And we know all the fallout of that. We know all the ramifications, all the implications, all the consequences of living in a sinful world. People are going to betray our confidence. People are going to talk about us behind our back. They'll spread rumors, they'll tell lies. Gossip, slander about us. Oh, it hurts, but it doesn't surprise us. Someone close to us tells us their marriage isn't simply falling apart, it's over, it's done. Family member is trapped, caught by some addiction, no way out. Someone very, very close to us tells us, I don't believe in Jesus anymore. It's sad. It's disappointing. It doesn't surprise us. We give in to temptation again. We said we'd never do that ever again, but here we are. It's frustrating. Our sin. But it doesn't surprise us. We know that our hearts are filled with the same grief and sorrow and fear and anxiety and worry and doubt. We know that our hearts too have failed to listen, failed to trust, failed to understand. That's just how insistent our sinful nature is. That's just how weak our sinful flesh is. That's how just defiant our old Adam is. Well, what does Easter say? What does Easter say to us? Isn't it the same thing the angels told the women? Don't be afraid. You're looking for Jesus, who's crucified. He's not here. He's risen, just as he said. Just as he said. The Son of Man must suffer many things at the hands of the chief priests, the elders, the teachers of the law, and he must be killed. And on the third day be raised again. Jesus said that. More than once Jesus had said that. None of what happened on Easter morning should have surprised anyone. It was all exactly as Jesus had laid out for them. It was all exactly according to God's eternal plan of salvation. So for that matter, nothing that happened on Thursday or Friday should have surprised anyone either. Maundy, Thursday, the garden, the prayers, the betrayal, the arrest, the mock trial, the false accusations, the blindfold, the slap, the spit. Friday morning, Pilate, the soldiers, the whip, the crown, the robe, the sentence, the condemnation, the hammer, the nails. Friday afternoon, the darkness, the abandonment, being forsaken, the suffering, the pain, the thirst, and ultimately the death. None of it should have surprised anyone that day. That was just as Jesus had told them. It was just as God had designed to save us from our sin, a sacrifice, a price, redemption, forgiveness, our sin washed away in his blood. And so Easter, the women should have got up at the crack of dawn. Alarm clock or not, they should have raced out to the tomb. They should have been looking maybe even for an angel, saying, where's Jesus? It's the third day. He said he'd be alive. Is he in the tomb? Is he around back with Peter? Did he go find John? Oh, he's probably going and visiting his mother, huh? Where can we see him and when? To Galilee? Were we supposed to go there? They didn't do that. Jesus did. Jesus was the one looking for people that day. Jesus was the one appearing to people that day. Why? To assure them that he was alive. To speak to their fears and to dispel their doubts and to assure those who had their worries and their anxiety. To assure them that they were forgiven. To assure them that they would live with him forever in heaven. Don't be surprised. The time is coming when all who are in his grave will hear his voice and come out. Don't be surprised. We believe that Jesus died and rose again. So we believe that Jesus will come back on the last day and bring with him all those who have died in the Lord. Don't be surprised. Jesus will come down from heaven with a loud command, with the voice of the archangel, with the trumpet call of God, and the dead in Christ will be raised. Don't be surprised. The day is coming when Jesus will create the new heaven and the new earth, the home of righteousness. No more hate, no more anger, no more crime, no more violence, no more terror, no more war, no more disease, no more handicaps, no more illness, no more cancer, no more surgery, no more therapy, no more chemo, no more radiation, no more Satan, no more sin, no more temptation, no more guilt. There will be no more sorrow, no more sadness. God will be with his people. He will be our God, and we will be his people. There will be no more pain, no more suffering, no more death, no more sorrow. He'll wipe every tear from our eyes. Don't be surprised. It's exactly what Jesus said. That's exactly what Jesus promised. And that's exactly what his resurrection assures us of. That's exactly what his resurrection guarantees us.